Good morning. It is time for the humble practice this week, and we're going to build on last week's prone mountain. If you didn't like prone mountain, if it sucked, that's okay. You can watch this one and learn from it, and when you're ready to start doing prone mountain and cobra, you'll do them. It may be that cobra's okay because you're in movement, and prone mountain not so good. So just kind of check it out and see. This is what it's about this whole year, is looking at a pose, trying the pose, playing with the pose, seeing if waking the legs up helps the pose, seeing if this pose isn't for you right now. All the poses aren't for everybody every day. That's just how it is. So I want you to figure out what's serving you, what's feeding you. When we do cobra, you will use a block. You want to get these legs woken up. And I'm going to show a leg variation after we learn the pose. So we start with prone mountain, block back at the end of your mat, between your feet. Again, you probably want the block 6 inches apart, 6 inches wide. You might use it wider. We come down, and we're going to keep the hands here as we had in prone mountain, but we're also going to start by setting those legs up. Hug the block. Press the thighs into the ground, and I want you to start to think about the back of your waist and the front of your body, and draw your belly toward the back of the waist. It's not going to come off the floor, but it's going to start to engage those muscles. Draw your shoulders back away from your ears, and as you inhale, you press down into your hands, and you come up with the torso, and you exhale and come down. Now, I don't move all that high, but some people don't even get that high. What I do want to make sure of is your thighs stay on the floor. Your pelvis is trying to move into extension. It tries to actually hinge backward. And the stomach supports the lower back. So we inhale and come up, and we exhale and come down, and you're hugging the block between your feet. And we try and keep the shoulders down, and we use the stomach, and we come down, and the next time you're up, I want you to hold. Draw the shoulders down, hug the block. Draw your belly in, and then soften between the shoulder blades, but not at the belly. The belly supports the lower back. And come down. And if you need to rest, much like last week, you would put your hands under your head instead of dropping everything to the floor. Now that's a whole lot of work, and a lot of people that hurts their lower back, and that's because they're not using their stomach. They use their arms, they overpower this part of the spine, and all that happens is they crunch here. We don't want the spine to crunch at the back of the waist. Instead, we want to keep the back of the waist supported, the back of the neck supported, and we use the movement in the upper body to change that curve. The upper spine is going to change curve. Often what you'll see is people crunch their lower back, just the ribs come up. Belly doesn't even come up, they just lift the ribs up and they fold here. You'll see chins try and lead them up. So they're folding the back of the neck. These two curves shouldn't be folding. They should have length in them. This curve, the curve between the neck and the bottom of the ribs, the thoracic spine, that's going to change shape, and it's going to happen slowly. It's not going to happen right away for most of us. So once more, we'll just do that 3 times and then hold on the 4th, and then I'll show you a leg variation. So hands are under the shoulders. If your hands are so far forward that you can get your elbows down, they're too far forward. If your hands are so far back it hurts your wrists and you can't get the heel of the hand down, they're too far back. So hands are roughly under the shoulders or a little back from there. Hug the block. Reach your thighs into the floor. Draw your belly towards your spine. Head in line with the spine. Not forward. In line with the spine. And as we inhale, we come up. Exhale and come down. You're trying to keep the feet hugging the block and the thighs on the floor. You use your stomach to support your lower back. And the next time we come up, we stay up, we hold, shoulders are down, there's weight in the hands. Draw the belly toward the spine, hug the block, soften between the shoulder blades. And come down and rest your head on your hands. Now the leg variation is because a lot of people can't figure out how to get their thighs to stay on the ground. So what if you bent your knees and reach your thighs back away from you? The knees will come up a little bit, but you'll really feel the front of the thigh bone on the floor. And then what if you take Cobra? Oh, it's going to wake more muscles up, I'm going to tell you that. But you're still squeezing the block, and you're reaching your knees away from you, and you're keeping the fronts of your thighs on the floor, and all the rest of it's the same. So, differences between the way most people do Cobra and the way I teach Cobra is you're really going to use your abdomen to protect that lower back. You're really going to use your feet against the block to wake those legs up, so you're not rotating the legs or collapsing in the legs. In fact, they're helping lift you. My hamstrings really work in that pose. And then you want to start to notice shoulders stay open and down, and we're changing this part of the spine, not so much this part and this part, this part. Letting it actually change curve. That's Cobra. We build it out of prone mountain. We start with a prone mountain that's very alive, legs, shoulders open, collarbones wide, belly engaged, and then we start to move the upper body from there. Remember, don't collapse onto the floor when you're done. Rest your head on your hands, stacked fists, or, depending on how high or low your torso is. Don't let your head drop forward. Don't let your shoulders collapse. And then when you're ready to come out of it entirely, just press yourself up to table and come up to standing. That's it for this week. Cobra. Woof. Take care of yourselves. If it ever hurts, as always, don't do it. And you can always reach me here, and I can troubleshoot for you if anything causes a problem or you can't figure out how to fix something. Good luck. Play with Cobra. I'll see you next week.